So today what I wanted to do was take a look at some of the most popular, meaning the most downloaded captures of amps that are on the Cortex Cloud. So we're on Cortex Cloud here. We're going to go look at captures. Let's hit show all here. This is defaulting to the most recent. Let's go ahead and change the settings here. So we're going to sort by popularity. And I think what I want to do is let's focus in on amps and cabs and combo amps. So today we're not going to look at amps that require DI. Let's focus on ones that have cabs included, and we want guitar. So let's see what we got. So not surprisingly, some of the ToneJunkie stuff comes in first. I haven't tried these AC30 ToneJunkies, so we'll go ahead and mark those for download. WorshipTutorial seems to have a lot of amps, so let's pick a few things from that. Not too many, but so we'll grab this Fender Bassman. Maybe we'll grab this Mojo Tone. And let's try the Vibroverb from ToneJunkie. I think we had enough from ToneJunkie. Let's skip that. Looks like a Marshall from WorshipTutorials. We'll try that one. Let's do this one from the ToneRanger. This ODS Joe Lead, I've used this one before, so you can find videos on that. What else do we got here? Let's try this 2-Rock John Mayer one. And Amalgam, we're going to skip some of the stuff from Amalgam. I've done tons of videos on their things. There's a whole playlist you can go look at there. Most of these Amalgam ones I've done before. Let's go ahead and try this 2-Rock. And we'll try this one. These two JP2Cs. And let's get one more. Something different. Yeah, let's try this Bloomfield drive. Okay, so we've got a bunch of captures marked, so let's head over to my Cortex control. I got a blank preset here that we're going to throw them into, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and set up row 3. And we're just going to throw in some reverb here at the end. So let's do this. We're going to do an ambience here. Bring down this a little bit. And we'll put a little bit of a plate in front of that. And maybe even a little, and we'll even throw in a delay in front of it. So it's just a monotape delay. And we'll put the mix at 20% and set the delay time to 380. All right, so we got kind of a blank preset here. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. I'm gonna call this Cortex Cloud amp capture test. There's a guitar. Save it. And let's go ahead to our directory. Now look at our downloads. We want to look at captures, downloads, and we're going to give this a second to fill out. So now what we're just going to do is we're going to grab these, and I'm going to get rid of this. Is a capture I never went ahead and used. All right, so these are all our amps. Just going to highlight them all and say we want to save to my captures. And now we need to go back to our grid, and we need to go find them. Okay, so I think we've got all of the captures pulled over to this preset. So a few annoying things, when you're looking at neural captures, there's no way to sort it by the time when you downloaded it. if you sort it by time, you're sorting it by the upload date of the person that created it. It would be useful to be able to sort it by, hey, let me see the captures that I just downloaded from Cortex Cloud today, because then you could just pull them in. Instead, you got to go hunt and peck for it. I'm also having some issues today where in the process of going through this, my Cortex Control app is crashing, and it's crashed 3 or 4 times as I was trying to create this preset. So hopefully that won't happen anymore as we're going through it, but just wanted to complain a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and start off and check these out. So let's go ahead and check out these captures. For this demo, I'm using an HSS Strat style guitar, and let's go ahead and start with the first one. So this is a Vibroverb from ToneJunkie. So for all of these captures, what I'm going to do is we're going to hear it kind of in its stock setting, and then we're going to test out kind of the different gain levels you can get from it. And we probably won't get much into tweaking the EQ unless it sounds a little off to my ear. But let's see the kind of the range we can get out of these captures. So we'll start with this one. Very quiet capture. So a nice clean tone. Let's go ahead and see how much gain this sucker has. It's pretty good. Now let's back it off just a little bit, see if we can get kind of edge or break up. Let's go ahead and move on. So this is a clean AC30. Again, very quiet. Let's try pushing the gain. This is the overdrive version of the AC30. So this is one thing to keep in mind. I always find with some of these things, so you've got 2 captures here. One is a clean, one is an OD. So that's basically, it's the same amp the basic same settings, are just, obviously the gain level is a little bit more. So if you're going after kind of the edge of breakup, one's a clean and you can push the gain to get edge of breakup. The other one's an overdrive and you can pull it back. I find you get a better tone by pulling it back from the OD capture than pushing the clean capture. It's a very subtle difference, but just something to keep in mind. So let's move on. So this is interesting. So this is a capture that actually there's a model of this on the Quad Cortex. It's a little... It's like a little too much mid for my taste. But a nice sounding one. It's just, you got to pull those mid back. Without that, it's a little too honky for my taste. And then we got a clean one here. Again, we'll probably pull the mids back a little bit. Yeah, we really didn't test this one. If we go back and we pull the gain back, let's go ahead and just see how little gain we can get out of this. That's not a bad rhythm tone. Let's move on. So we did those. Let's try this Marshall. So, not my favorite. Let's go ahead and crank the gain and see what we get here. Not a capture I would use a lot of, but I think the hard part with Marshall captures is the one thing you can't do in adjusting the capture EQ is bring down that presence. And so, when I use a Marshall model, I tend to roll the presence pretty far down, and you can't really do that. Definitely works better in this kind of clean, throaty sound. Yeah, I would probably use this kind of in that kind of setting. All right, let's move on. So, Thunder Bass Bend from the Worship tutorial. again, a nice tone. I think pushing it more into edge of breakup is kind of the place to go. Let's go ahead and see how much gain it has on tap. Yeah, that's too much. I think it's best to keep it kind of down. All right, so this is a Marshall. Give it a little more gain. So I think that one, to me, sounds better, a little pushed. Let's go ahead and try this one. I don't know enough about the naming convention to know what the difference is here between the HB2 and the SC. All right, let's see how much gain this one's got on tap. So again, I don't think I'd go that high on it. I'd keep it more down in here. Interesting. All right, so this is a ToneRanger, I think, Blackface Super Reverb. Is that what this is? This one sounds better. You got to keep it clean. All right, 2 rock. It's nice and warm. Let's give it a little more gain. See where we get. Well, let's go ahead and crank the gain and see what's there. It's nice and warm. It likes a little bit of character. Let's try this traditional clean. This one needs to be pushed a little bit. So that's nice. As long as you push the gain in this one, I think you get some nice stuff out of it. So I think there's a lot of kind of good edge of breakup stuff kind of at the top of the popularity list. You know, the Vibroverb and the AC30s is pretty good. You know, I don't know that I would bother much with the JP2C. There's models available in the Quad Cortex that are pretty good in this area. So I don't know that you're getting much more out of those captures. This Marshall, remember this one is, yeah, not my favorite. This basement is pretty good. And these Marshalls, these WorshipTutorial Marshalls, I feel like you got to push the gain a little bit to get them into a good kind of good feeling area. And you know, this Fender, this one more, you gotta make sure you're not pushing the gain too much. Because I think when you get into the breakup, it starts to get a little harsh. And then the two rocks are okay. You know, they've got some nice warmth to them. So the other thing I find interesting is, you know, a lot of the top captures, if you notice, are kind of clean to edge of breakup, which I think is cool, and because it's, you know, to me, that's personally kind of what I'm looking for in a good amp capture, because then I can put pedals in front of it. I can, you know, I can tweak that tone a little bit. I don't typically go to captures when I'm looking for, hey, I want a great high gain tone. I think the models can do the high gain stuff pretty well. They tend to fall down a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit when you try to get that edge of breakup. It really takes some tweaking to get that right. You know, the Lone Star can kind of get there. You know, I feel like the Fender models on the Quad Cortex aren't necessarily the best. So, you know, it makes sense that, you know, you really rely on captures to try to get some of those tones. And obviously there's some good ones available here. Anyway, if you stayed through the whole thing, I appreciate it. I hope you found it helpful, and thanks for watching.